Vacant bank-owned REOs with no realtor signs. Okay, so if there's no sign in the yard, the house is vacant, and there's a lockbox on the door, you know that there's no listing agreement and that no one knows about it. That lockbox on the door is the number one clue that this thing is bank-owned. Here's the deal. And other than Richard, do we have any other REO listing agents in the room by any chance? Okay, you're an REO listing agent? Excellent. So what I want to talk to the guys about is P&P, property preservation. So you're obviously very familiar with that. So what happens is when the bank takes the property back through the foreclosure process, they'll go ahead and talk to Robert. They'll say, hey, we've got one on 123 Elm Street here. We'll get you the listing agreement as soon as possible. But in the meantime, go to town. We need you to handle the P&P, or property preservation, which means fix the broken windows, change the locks, get the trash cleaned out, get the lawn mowed, get the things done so that it doesn't get a code violation, and so that the property's secure and hopefully going to keep the 3 V's out, the vandals, vermin, and vagrants. So the P&P part is the realtor hangs a lockbox on the door. Now, it may be a super key, but probably not. You don't use a super key for that because you're going to have your handyman go in there. You're going to have the locksmith go in there, and they don't have a super key. So you'll use one of your combo type lockboxes, right? And even after the thing gets listed, assuming it does, you may take that combo lockbox and put it on the side door, and then put your super key listing box on the door. So that way, there's a time and date stamp of when the realtor comes and goes. Are you guys familiar with what a supra key is? It's a little electronic key. It's it's not like on a ring. It's a little flat card. You lay it up against the box, and a time and date stamps who you are, when you came, and it opens it up. So then the key, you open it up, and then when you go back to lock it back up, you need to put the super key on it, and time and date stamps when you left. And that's a good record to have so that the listing agent can see who's been showing it and make sure that the names match up on the list, on the clipboard, on the kitchen counter, and all that. But that lockbox, that combo lockbox that Robert put on the door is probably still there on the side because his guys may need to get back in there during the listing, okay? So I want to talk for a minute about this P&P, the property preservation. This is important for you to understand. Not in every market, and I'm interested in your market, the lenders and asset managers expect the REO listing agent to cover the cost of P&P. Do they expect you to do that where you are? And then the only way you can recover that is after the property's sold, you've got to submit an invoice. It's got to be within a certain period of time. And if you miss it or you're asleep at the switch, they actually can refuse to reimburse you for that. And that's pretty heavy duty. So, at any given time, an REO listing agent could have 2 or 3 properties listed, or could have 20 or 30, or could have 100. And what would you say is the average amount of money you put into a property for a P&P? $3 grand. $3 grand. Out of his pocket. Until he's reimbursed by the bank or the asset manager after the property sells. So you could have $20, $30, $50, $100,000 out at any given time.
I've got 34 listings right now.
He's got 34 listings right now, with an average of $3,000 in property preservation in each one of them. So I'm telling you this because I think it's relevant, certainly. But also, I'm telling you this because I want you to understand why many, but not all, listing agents do like the idea of pre-list deals with their buddy investors so that they can get the double paycheck. Because they're sitting on this $100 and some thousand that's out there that they're almost for sure paying some sort of interest on, and would like to get both sides of the commission whenever possible. So it brings me back to the point I made a minute ago. There are some agents that will say to you, oh, well, I don't accept an offer until the property's been on the market for 15 days or whatever. And granted, there are a few lenders out there that are now saying they want to have this first look thing going on where, they're trying to sort of kind of mimicking HUD a little bit where they want to make the property available to first-time or owner-occupant buyers first. And so, okay, fine. So here's the thing on that. The houses we want to buy, they won't want to buy. Okay? So The other part of that is if, I'm hearing that there are some lenders. Are you seeing lenders wanting to do that in your world? Okay. But I'm also positive that there are agents out there, because I've experienced it myself, who will tell you that or something to that effect, where all they're really looking to do is to get you to go away because they have their little pool of investors that they work with. And you got to get into that little club. Do you remember hearing me talk about that in the Fast Cash with Foreclosures program? So, your last name I haven't said, so it's not on the tape. So I'm going to ask you a question, and you can lie to me if you want to. Do you do pre-list deals with investors who you know and get those offers in a little ahead of the game?
I put a no trespassing sign with an 800 number so I could get buyers to call me first in order to double in my deal.
So he puts his phone number on the house before there's a sign in the yard with his agency name on it. So the answer, if you'll allow me, was hell yeah. When I've got $100,000 sunk into these piece of crap houses that I'm not going to get back until I sell them, you better believe I'm going to take a double commission whenever I possibly can. And can you blame them?